God.
Ooh, they didn't know I was going to start off with sexy. I didn't say sexy red. I said sexy first lady.
Jeez.
Amen. I mean, I say that because you have brought a level of femininity.
Sure.
You brought a level of beauty. You've you changed the way we kind of think of what a first lady looks like.
Sure.
I mean, but you've gotten some pushback.
Yeah.
They don't like to see you coming.
Well, they better get used to
Baby.
Yeah, I have found that people don't like to see anything coming that is different from what they're used to, right? And so they don't like to see, people these days don't want to see anything too feminine, anything overly confident, anything that they can't box in. People hate anomalies. They hate anything that they can't deconstruct and try to figure out how to make it their own. And so, I don't think that I'm necessarily bringing anything new. There are other attractive, sexy, if that's what they call it, first ladies. I don't try to be sexy. I don't even think that sexy is, I don't think that it's a look. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that sex appeal is walking in the fullness of who you are. I don't think that it's a thing. You can have on sweatpants and a pair of J's and be sexy. When I wake up in the morning and my husband see the back of my head, no makeup, you know what I mean? These braids falling all out. And he thinks that's sexy. So I don't think that it is. I think it's the essence of who a person is. And I don't think that it's something you can manufacture, because I think when you try to manufacture it, it's not sexy. But when you show up as you, then it is sexy. And so, I just try to be who I am. I really do, in every space that I go into. Some spaces require different versions of who I am, because we often think, a person's fake if they don't act like this in this space. No, different spaces require something different. And as women, I always say this, we are multifaceted, we are multidimensional. And so you shouldn't ever expect to just see the same me every time, right? The core of who I am remains the same, but I may show up differently depending on what the space is requiring of me. And so I'm at 45 very comfortable with me. They would have had to catch me about 28, 30, to really care, because at this point, I don't. Some things irritate me because I can't stand ignorance. Right. I can't stand ignorance. I can't stand messiness. I can't stand backbiting. I can't stand grown women who are simple. Do you know what I mean? I don't like those things. It's not the oxygen I breathe. I don't live in those type of spaces. And so, it's just certain things that I don't engage in and I don't like, but I am who I am now. But don't play with me, because I will have something to say back.
Miss Karri, baby. Listen.
Yes.
I think, when I met you, I think we met at the Dream Center.
Yes.
We were on stage.
Yes.
Danielle Murphy.
Man, that was 2018, 2017.
Yes, it was. And that was our first encounter. You were like, you did your part, and then you were headed off to like Nashville or Memphis or something. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of like, hey, girl, what's up? It's nice to meet you. And then you were like, bye, I'm doing my thing. And I think that you have always done your thing, right? But there's been a heightened sense of awareness of who you are in the last 2 years, really last year. And one of the things that we talked about backstage was activism, because you have been thrust into, you on the front line now.
Listen.
I mean, you have married a man, and y'all know.
My God, today.
Who has created, what y'all be saying? I shut my head down.
Listen, every tongue I got.
Listen, sha-na-na-na. Okay? But you have married married a man who, really when I told this backstage to you, I was like, who has created a boycott that we have not seen since the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
The most successful boycott that we've seen since the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Was this on your vision board? Was this on your bingo card?
No.
Because I don't think you was trying to be Coretta on the front line, baby.
No, not at all. It's so funny. Even when people say that, I have so much honor and respect and regard for Mrs. King, God rest her soul, that I don't like the comparisons, transparently. I realize that people don't necessarily have any other point of reference because of who he is, but I don't like the comparisons. One, those shoes can never be filled. That's the first thing. Secondly, she was just incomparable. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I don't want that life. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I don't want that to be my story, transparently. And I say that with all grace and with all respect, because we know Dr. King was assassinated, right? And that is a real reality. And so I'm very careful about what I put out in the atmosphere. I'm very careful about what I allow as seeds into my life, into my family's life. And so while I know that people say that with honor, and I get it, but it's not something that I embrace. I don't think it's cute. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so with that, it's so funny because I had said to my husband last week when the world was up in turmoil, and he was a part of a little bit of that, I said to him, because I'm always praying, and I'm not saying it to just, sound good. I'm walking down the street, I'm praying. I'm in the hallway in my home, I'm praying. When he's up on Sunday morning and people are shouting, I'm looking and I'm praying. I never stop praying, and I'm telling you, it really is the truth. And I do that because there's no way that I could have had a blueprint for what this looks like. Yeah. I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I said to him, I don't know a person that I can pick up the phone and call and say, what do you do when your husband is getting bomb threats, when you are getting death threats, when they're calling the church, when your home is being jeopardized, when you have to have increased security, when it's this and when it's that? Like, it's a real thing. And I said to him, I don't know of another first lady that I can pick up the phone and call. No. And it's not out of arrogance. It's just I don't have anybody that I can ask those questions to. And I said that to him, and he said, I know who I can call. And I said, who? He said, Bernice King.
Oh, wow.
And he got Dr. King on the telephone. And it's funny because a couple of days before, she had written a note for me and had given me Mrs. King's book that she had written. And I had been taking some time to read it. And so when he called her, she shared some things with me and we laughed. And she just said, keep on praying, and some other things. But she understands the dynamic of what I might be feeling right now. Because oftentimes people will say, oh, we're praying for pastor, but they don't ever, not ever, but people don't think about the wife of the person or the children of the person or the parents of the person who is doing this work that God calls him to do. And so while I see it as an honor, I also am very careful about that because I know that could have been difficult for her. She shares a lot in her book about the challenges. Even when she grew up, it was amazing how God was preparing her to marry him, and she didn't even know from some of the things that she had experienced as a child. And so I have great honor and great reverence, but I'd be like, y'all, please, you know what I mean? I get it, but I'm also very sensitive to it, if that makes sense.
I can only imagine. If that blessed you, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more wisdom, truth, and transformation waiting in the full conversation. Click the link in the caption below to watch the entire interview, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Vault Empowers Talks.